Meta goes to 88 in October. You're screaming on your YouTube channel, this is a buy.
Great call, too.
Why were you so confident about Meta?
I mean, it was a pure valuation play in regards to that one. I mean, that was just got disgusting. And it was pretty obvious to me because I had been a Meta shareholder for years. So obviously I follow the company super close. And it was obvious to me they way overhired during Rona. Like that whole 2020, 2021, they added way too many employees. And so it was just, I mean, to me, that was just an obvious, like easy money play there, in my opinion. Right. And so obviously, they've made those changes, and what we're going to see play out from Meta over this next 12 to 24 months, in my opinion, is you're going to see the EPS skyrocket, the net income, obviously, and I think we'll see, decent revenue growth. Meta is certainly not the most exciting opportunity from revenue growth side. It's certainly no Tesla, it's no Palantir. It's just an easy money, like wide open three type stock, I call it, and so.
I think it's $1 trillion company, if not more, and VR is a real play. Do you agree that this is an over $1 trillion company, even with the advertising?
I think they have a chance to be the biggest company in the world. I know that's an outlandish call, but I
have enough shares. I'm happy about
why? What's the real quick before you answer why? Thank you, George. Again, George, every day, $20. Thank you for this collaboration. 2 more Palantir shares means the world, man. TJ, the wheel deal, my guy. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you guys all win at investing. More importantly, at the game of life. TJ, shout out to him. People in the chat don't know him. He's one of my good friends. He just got married just a couple of days ago. So
congrats.
Shout out to TJ for your marriage. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, Meta, the most biggest company in the world. What is the bull case? You've got someone right above your head who thinks Meta is the most evil company for teenage girls. So please break down why you think it's the most valuable company. In the
Not
world.
evil, but I don't see it. So I'm curious what your answer would be.
Yeah. So in regards to Meta, I think we're going to see their net income accelerate much more quickly than their revenue. So basically, for anybody that is watching this that might not understand, basically, if they're growing revenue, let's say 10%, I believe their net income is going to grow 15, 20, 30% over this next few years based upon them bringing down costs. I believe the stocks should command, in my opinion, somewhere in the 30 to 35 current P, forward P, based upon what I believe is their long-term growth over time. Okay. And I believe that as advertising, we've gone through a really tough time this past year with the advertising market. I believe as that comes back, I believe we'll see ad rates go up substantially. WhatsApp is an opportunity Meta's just touching on. I mean, WhatsApp is massive, and they're just at the infant stage of monetizing that opportunity, which is a whole game changer in themselves. Then I look at Instagram Reels, which has started to obviously take off like a beast over this last like 6 to 9 months. They're going to play a lot of catch up on monetization. They're no different than when Instagram Stories first came out. It was like everybody started using it, but you weren't getting any ads.
Yeah.
And so there's many opportunities. Obviously, if they're successful in metaverse, that's a whole other opportunity, but that's a call option. That's to me is like the robo-taxi opportunity with Tesla.
100%.
So when I look at it from all those different perspectives, I think this is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar market cap, and I think it'll be one of the biggest companies in the world. Get more conviction if they can have that next tier platform of really being a real player. Like if it's like Apple versus them in like the metaverse opportunity, I think that could be it's just an extra call option of greatness there. So that's my opinion. We'll see what plays out there. Yeah. It's not going to be easy for them. And the problem with a call like that is there's a lot of companies that are going to be fighting for that title. I think Amazon's going to be in that running over the next few years. I think there's going to be a huge comeback there in terms of their profitability and margins. Tesla's going to be in the running once, we kind of get out of this higher interest rate environment, whenever that is. Yeah. And so you're going to have a lot of companies fighting for that title. And obviously there's going to continue to have Apple and Microsoft be there. The difference is between Apple and Microsoft, those valuations are a little rich for where those companies' growth rates are. I mean, Apple's revenues probably are going to go down for the rest of this year. So that's a whole different situation than a Meta or certainly than an Amazon and some of the other big dogs. So, but we'll see. But yeah. Do you guys have any strong opinions on that one way or another?
Do we have strong opinions?
Oh God!
I think your call on Amazon is probably the one that I agree with the most. I think there's so much underappreciation for how much Amazon has honestly grown and how much money they've spent on CapEx that now they can cut back on the CapEx, and all of that stuff ends up being cash that's generated that they can use stuff with. Probably some share buybacks, because one of the things that people don't realize with Amazon is Amazon pays their workers heavily in stock, right? So there is an automatic assumption based on their compensation that employees will get a 15% return on their stock every year. Now, the thing is, because of that underperformance of that stock, they're going to have to do something to boost the share price up. Now, what do I think it is? I think it's easy. They're just going to cut back on CapEx, not hire as many people, lower down the OpEx, and just use that money to buy up shares so that it shoots the stock back up again, so that now you don't have an employee revolt on top of it. So, and the other thing is like the CEO, Andy Jassy, I think a lot of people think that, oh, it's a new CEO. He's the outside guy. He doesn't know how to do things like Bezos. And I'm just like, that's Bezos' top lieutenant. They built AWS together. So you're in good hands. Like, this is the same Steve Jobs, Tim Cook moment happening again. Yeah, so I think Amazon is probably going to be the one you really want to focus on, and that's the one that I'm probably most bullish on.
Well, I'm curious, is it Amazon or Meta? If you had to pick one, of course.
I would say if I had to pick.
Kris,
he was asking the guest.
Oh, Jeremy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Kris, I like to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, Kris, I do a podcast with you every night. I still care about what's good.
So Meta for me is just a hold now. I have a really good sized position in Meta. I think it's around like 400K. So I don't need more Meta shares. I do need more Amazon shares. So, and I think those two both have incredible bright futures. To predict which one's going to outperform, it's a really tough game.
But you have more Meta. You're saying I have more Meta than Amazon.
Significantly more. Yep.
Well, that says a lot. That says a lot.
Is that a function of your conviction, or just where the prices were at the times you were buying?
Prices were in Amazon's really just been a stock I've started to really build out over this last, I would say, like 6 months. So Amazon's a position I'm building into and just plan to continue to build it this year, whereas Meta is just a hold for me now at this point in time. But I mean, if you had to say, what if I didn't have a position in Meta, I would honestly probably be building my position in Meta right now. It's just at some point in time, you get enough shares of a stock and you don't want to get too in case you're wrong, right? Because sometimes you could be wrong. I could be wrong on Meta, and who knows what happens there. But
that was the question that I was going to ask you. It's like, do you also build a bear case for stocks that you're interested in? Like, when you're too bullish or the conviction seems too strong, do you also say, hey, let me step back for a second and see what are the potential headwinds that I might not be looking at? And then how do you weigh those things against each other when you are allocating your capital?
Over the past, I would say 9 to 12 months, I've really started doing that on a higher level. So what I'll create is a super bear case, a bear case, a base case, a bull case, and then like an ultra bull case. Yeah. And I started really doing that over this past, I would say 9 to 12 months, especially on big positions, because what I found definitely is many times I could be trapped into only looking at it from the bullish perspective, not saying, well, what's the risk here, right? And so that's something I've definitely started to do over the past few years. And so if you like Amazon, I got all 5 scenarios lined up and kind of what I expect those companies' net incomes to be and revenues to be and margins in different scenarios. Why would margins go down in this scenario versus up in this scenario and whatnot? So, and I think that's important especially for big positions people build out. It does make you think, okay, what are the risks going in with this?
Do you also consider the other players in their industry? Like, an example is something that I'm bullish, that makes me more bullish on Tesla, is the inevitable collapse of the other auto companies. So as they collapse, I feel like it's a vacuum, right? People will then start looking at the only player in town, and that's nothing to do with Tesla. They're just going to operate, and the numbers are going to be the numbers. Is that something that you also do as well, say with a company like Meta or Amazon or any of the other stocks that you're heavily convicted in?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you ought to always think about the competitors. And so even with Meta, like for Meta, I think about everything that takes people's attention away is a competitor to Meta. Netflix is a competitor to Meta. YouTube's a competitor to Meta. Like, anything that's like TV, Twitter, like all this stuff is ultimately competitors. It doesn't even have to be necessarily for them, it's an attention play. They want you to spend, TikTok, obviously massive competitor. They would love you to spend more time. The more time you spend on Instagram, Facebook, or different platforms, the more money they're going to make. That's just, it's just the math behind it. So, that's kind of the way I think about it. And in terms of Meta, obviously TikTok's been a major competitor and probably will continue to be. Is it going to get banned? I mean, probably not. That's my guess on that.
You don't think it's going to get banned? We actually think.
I actually don't think it's getting banned either.
I don't think so either.
I think it's happening.
I think it's too easy politically. It's a great thing politically to get supporters behind you, but once they do it, they can't use it anymore as like a campaign. So
let me get to the super chat, and then we got to move on to one more topic. Palantir Research 3450, just a tiny show of support. Keep the good work all. $6.09 each, of course. Appreciate you.